Joining me now from Pretoria in South Africa is Sinan Ulgen. He's the chairman of the Centre of Economics and Foreign Policy Studies, a think tank based in Istanbul. Thanks so much for joining us, Sinan. Now, we're 4 weeks into the campaign, Olive Branch, and we've seen a Turkish helicopter down. Possibly now we're saying it's the deadliest day so far for Turkey. Do you think this is going to be a longer than expected campaign?
Well, it certainly is going to be a long campaign. I don't know whether it is longer than expected because most military analysts that were looking at the campaign were fully aware of the difficulties of this one. Even as the campaign started, as you can recall, the Turkish Prime Minister Binali Yıldırım set it out in 4 stages. The first stage being extending the security zone from the Turkish border deep into northern Syria. The second stage being the siege and attack on Afrin center, where most of the YPG paramilitary is now. And then the third stage would be expanding the scope of the whole operation beyond Afrin, including Manbij, and possibly the fourth one to the east of Manbij. So in a way, even the political leadership was, I think, aware of the complexities of this campaign. Of course, now, especially after yesterday, which has been the most tragic day of the campaign, most of the Turkish population is also becoming aware of the complexities and difficulties and the risks as well of this campaign. That is certainly going to affect how the campaign is perceived. I think the Turkish population will also, but also the international public opinion, will also need to take into consideration the different elements that will now continue to shape the campaign.
Okay, Sinan, let's talk about international public opinion, because we're hearing reports that the UK Foreign Office has repeatedly referred to only reported links between the YPG and the PKK. They've also called this incoherent and not credible. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think when we look at this campaign, we should be aware that there certainly is a military aspect to this one. But there are other aspects which eventually might be as important as the military dimension. And that is really the fact that this is being unraveled in an environment which we can call as a hybrid war, where there is this military dimension, but there is also the information warfare, which will become ever more important as we progress. And this is certainly an element of that information warfare, where Turkey is trying to convince the international community that this is a campaign that from the security, whereas the YPG and the PYD will try to convince the international community that Turkey is violating international law and will give rise to a number of difficult decisions. So I think here as well, what Turkey will need to do is to improve its diplomatic effort in both bilaterally, but also within multilateral institutions, whether it's the UN or NATO, to try to bring across the challenge that this poses and the reason why this campaign has unfolded.
Okay. Sinan, thanks so much for your analysis. That was Sinan Ulgen, chairman of the Centre of Economics and Foreign Policy Studies in Istanbul.